Welcome to New Citizens. I'm Public Function and I'm going to start off a new series on Star Citizen, and I'm going to try and answer the question I get asked most often. What is Star Citizen? So let's start off at the beginning. So Star Citizen is an immersive dynamic universe. Its genre is really hard to fit into one single thing because the game covers so many different types of game genre. But I would describe it thus. It is an immersive space simulator with... Oh no, that's not it. I would describe it as a dynamically generated procedural universe MMO. No. Star Citizen is... This is really hard. Star Citizen is an MMO space simulator RPG action adventure first person game. The breakdown of this game is that it has its persistent universe, which is partially procedurally generated, and it has games within games. Those are held outside the game, but in reality they are created by companies from within the game. Right now, Star Citizen is a test bed for FPS combat and how that works in game, which includes all the zero-G combat, and Arena Commander is how the ships and flight dynamic models all actually work. So that's those two elements. The persistent universe itself is a lot larger. At the moment we're stuck on one system within a star system, and they've called that the micro universe or the mini PU. And we're expecting seamless instances. So when we jump from star system to star system, I believe you're going to go instance to instance. This is not confirmed. I just think this is how it's going to work. Okay, so where did Star Citizen come from? So the man behind Star Citizen is Chris Roberts. Many people may not have heard of this man, but he is a god in gaming. People talked about Peter Molyneux as being a gaming god. Unfortunately, Chris Roberts kicks his ass. Chris Roberts is responsible for the Wing Commander series. He's also responsible for another game called Privateer, and also one of my favorite games of all time, Freelancer, which is where Star Citizen, I think, roughly gets its basis from, but you know, with internet technology and everything advancing, he's able to go further with Star Citizen than he could with Freelancer. There's a lot of homages paid within Star Citizen to his other games, but Chris Roberts has been developing games for a long time. He is the director of Cloud Imperium Games and Foundry 42. Behind the game, the technology that's being used is relatively groundbreaking, just because of how the developers and the designers are having to basically take what was CryEngine and is now called Lumberyard. For those who don't know, CryEngine changed names and Amazon took it over into the AWS pool and renamed it Lumberyard because basically Crytek fell apart. So we're going to start off talking about what technology has been used. So basically most of Lumberyard's own tools have been rewritten, and the developers in Frankfurt who do most of the game engine work have built massive chunks of tools to work with the engine to allow the designers and other developers to be able to plug stuff in relatively seamlessly. This is one of the reasons why the game has taken so long. 2.5 brought in a lot of changes, massive changes to what the pipeline did, to the point of they're now rebuilding a lot of the old ships and putting them through the new pipeline process and generating there, which allows them to create much more detailed systems far quicker, allows them to be breakable, allows them to be split apart, allows segments to be transferred and swapped out. Even internal components will have the ability to be able to do this. I can't really go too much into the behind the scenes technology, but what the guys at CIG have been doing is relatively inspiring, to be honest, about how their approach to making a game is, because what Chris Roberts wants to deliver is so massive, they've had to adapt the Lumberyard engine to their needs. And this is the key point as to why the game is taking so long to develop. It's currently almost at year 4 or has just passed year 4, which, to be honest, in development of a game from the ground up, remember, these guys aren't building it on an existing system. This is a brand new, straight out of the box thing. So, because they're having to do this, is the reason why it's taken so long. 4 years isn't technically a long time in game development when you're doing it like this. 4 years is about right from where they are now. They're progressing relatively quickly now because the new pipeline system is working so well. They're going to be able to put patches out a lot faster. The system will generate dynamic missions based on what player actions happen within the universe. One of the points that was brought up more recently was about how economics is going to work. Say a certain system is running low on resources, what's going to happen is that the system will recognize this, the persistent universe database system that runs in the background will recognize this, that demand is going to outweigh the inventory that system has. So therefore it's going to start asking people, generating missions for people to go on. So they're running out of hydrogen fuel, or they're running out of biscuits, or whatever it is. The system will generate a mission asking players to go and fulfill mission needs until the inventory exceeds demand. This is one of the ways that they're going to tackle this, and I think this is a really ingenious way of how that works. It's really quite good, but that's to give you an idea. There are full-blown missions. So if you ever saw the Planet Tech demo, I'll link the video below. That gives a good example of what mission generation is going to look like, or how it's roughly going to feel. Obviously, everything is a work in progress. And FPS element is just simple FPS. You are, unlike ED, Elite Dangerous, for those who don't know, you are stuck in your ship all the time. You go from one ship into another type of little craft and wander the planet. In Star Citizen, that's not the case. You can get out of your ship wherever you are, wander out from the cockpit and into first person. The whole game is in first person. You get in and out of your ship. You can walk around planets, space stations. If you can land on an asteroid, you can walk around the asteroid if you don't mind a slight clipping problem at the moment. So guys, thanks for listening to me dribble on about Star Citizen. I am actually really hyped for this game. It's probably the only game I've ever felt this excited about, purely because of what it's bringing and the immersive possibilities this game's going to bring. Thank you again for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. And guys, I will catch you in episode 2.